Hello guys, today we're going to be recording a video on War of Terror. Today we're going to be focusing on what was the War on Terror, what was the cause of the War on Terror, what happened in the War on Terror, who was involved in the War on Terror, why was it so important, what does the War on Terror teach us, and finally, how does the War on Terror connect to whatever that is happening in the world right now. And these will be the main points throughout the video. I'm Sejal Pradhan, and today we will be discussing these questions and we will be learning about the War on Terror. What was the War on Terror? So firstly, we will be talking about what the War on Terror was. The War on Terror was a campaign launched by the US by the President George W. Bush.
On my orders, the United States military has begun strikes against Al-Qaeda terrorist training camps and military installations of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. These carefully targeted actions are designed to disrupt the use of Afghanistan as a terrorist base of operations and to attack the military capability of the Taliban regime.
The US government and the US officials sent military troops into the Middle East in response to the terrorist attacks conducted in the US. The objective of the campaign was to target and prevent terrorist organizations such as Al-Qaeda and protect the nation from these terrorists by going after those who are responsible for those attacks. The War on Terrorism was not a war between countries, rather it was a war against terrorist groups. What was the cause of the War on Terror? To know the cause of the War on Terror, we must first learn about what might have led to these terrorist attacks. The motive for these terrorist attacks were due to the involvement of the US in the Middle East. Osama bin Laden, who was the leader of Al-Qaeda, believed that the US was harming the Muslim countries.
فها هي أمريكا قد أصابها الله سبحانه وتعالى في مقتل من مقاتلها فدمر أعظم مبانيها فلله الحمد والمنة.
Osama bin Laden opposed US support for Israel, and he hated that there were American troops stationed in Saudi Arabia, which is known to be the holiest site of the religion Muslim. Al-Qaeda wanted to scare the US into leaving the Middle East, so they planned a terrorist attack. Imagine one day waking up to a regular day in New York City with a beautiful view. Then you see a plane flying through New York City. Then out of nowhere, you see the same airplane hit the World Trade Center. Well, that is exactly what happened in reality. The War on Terror was the byproduct of September 11, 2001, which was the 9/11 incident. And there were many other terrorist attacks in the US just like 9/11.
you have to listen to me carefully. I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you.
Plane crashed into Alpha 4.
Looks like it went into the Pentagon.
On that day, the terrorist group Al-Qaeda conducted a series of attacks in the US. The terrorist group Al-Qaeda hijacked 2 planes and crashed those 2 planes into the World Trade Center in New York. The amount of death concluded to 3,000, while the amount of injuries concluded to 6,000. What happened in the War of Terror? Well, there were many major events that happened during the War on Terror, but these were the most notable out of all. But firstly was the invasion of Afghanistan. The invasion of Afghanistan happened in 2001, just weeks after 9/11. The US invaded Afghanistan to remove the Taliban from power and find Osama bin Laden, which concluded as the longest war that the US had. Next is the invasion of Iraq. The US invaded Iraq in 2003 because the US thought that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. Later on, it was found that Saddam Hussein did not have weapons of mass destruction. But still, the Iraqi government sentenced Saddam Hussein to execution of a hanging. Lastly is the death of Osama bin Laden. After a decade, the US finally found Osama bin Laden and killed him in Pakistan.
The shooter claims the point man led the men up the stairs. The point man took a shot when he saw who he thought was bin Laden. He then grabbed 2 women by the bedroom door, and then the shooter entered the room. The shooter claims he saw bin Laden and his wife, Amal, and shot bin Laden in the head. Others say the point man in fact shot bin Laden. The 2 other men came in, saw bin Laden on the floor, and shot him in the chest.
Who was involved in the War on Terror? Many countries were involved in the War on Terror. The United States led to the effort, but many allies joined like the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and NATO. And on the other side were the terrorist group like Al-Qaeda, Taliban, and later on ISA. Civilians on both sides of the war were affected by the war. Why was the War on Terror important? The War on Terror was important because it changed the way countries dealt with terrorism and national security. It led to many major changes in military strategy and airport security. It also changed the relationship between countries and brought attention to the danger of terrorism. What does the War on Terror teach us? And how does the War on Terror connect with the current world right now? The War on Terror teaches us about the cause and consequences of war. meaning that there are many things to lose between both sides of the war. It shows how important it is to protect innocent lives and fight against terrorism, but also shows how war can affect other individuals' life. It teaches us the importance of understanding other cultures and avoiding actions that might lead to more violence. And the war on terror connects to the world right now due to the fact that the relationship between the Middle East and America has significantly got better, teaching us the value that anything could be overcome as long as you conversate and discuss about it.